watching the Kacee Allen Show. I'm your host, Kacee Allen. We got a big show tonight. We're going to be talking about the Los Angeles anti-ICE riots that started last weekend in response to ICE actually starting to deport people. It got so bad that LA police and local law enforcement could not contain the catastrophe, and Trump had to call in National Guard, Marines, and every single reinforcement possible to contain this issue. But before we get started, make sure to hit the follow and like button on Rumble and X. We go live Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern. But nevertheless, glad to be back with you guys during this chaotic time. So these riots that were originally protests originated from ICE finally deporting people. They went in, they gave these guys 6 months. Trump even said before he got elected that if you're here illegally, you need to go now. And clearly California makes up a big portion of the illegal immigrant population, because when push finally comes to shove, they resist and form an insurrection, because that's exactly what it is. You have illegal immigrants on the streets burning cars, looting stores, some of them even claiming that California belongs to Mexico. So the first line of defense, which is Gavin Newsom's state of California and their law enforcement, did not do their job. Karen Bass, Gavin Newsom, and all the officials are basically telling them not to pursue these guys. And not only that, law enforcement themselves cannot contain them. You see them on bridges, they're throwing things and hitting officers. It is absolutely detrimental to the image of our country. And that Gavin Newsom is sitting back allowing this to happen, saying that he's more worried about the peaceful protesters and the illegal immigrants that are here and hardworking individuals. And he said that Tom Homan and Trump better lay their hands off of them. And he's willing to even interfere with their ICE operations, which could lead to his arrest. He even went as far as going on an NBC interview and telling Tom Homan, "Arrest me now, tough guy." So after a single day of seeing police cars on fire and violent protests that were not able to be contained by local law enforcement, Trump decided to make an executive decision and send the National Guard into Los Angeles. He originally ordered 5,000 National Guard troops into Los Angeles, and it's now been up to 7,000, rightfully so, and since then we're seeing a massive increase in illegal immigrant arrests, ICE busts, and even arrests of people that are robbing and looting stores. Governor Gavin Newsom of California has condemned Donald Trump, telling him to step down, and claimed that Trump has lied about a phone call that he had with him that didn't exist. Clearly has a globalist agenda to usher in all these illegal immigrants, mass immigration and replacement that's only going to lead to the detriment of our country. It's going to destroy the demographics in our country, it's going to increase crime, and our whole country would be like California if every governor was like Gavin Newsom. Newsom is basically asking for a civil war. He can't keep his state under control, and now he's refusing Trump's help in a city that's in dire need. So I believe this is the greatest test the Trump administration has faced so far. I've been very critical of the low deportation numbers in general. Right now they're on pace to be lower than Barack Obama's. This is a key test to see if MAGA actually gets what they voted for, and Trump follows through with his populist agenda of actually getting these people out of the country and bringing peace to areas where violence is out of control. So I think Trump has done everything right so far, but I would be more aggressive. I would make sure the people on the bridges that are throwing objects and injuring people, cars and cops, I would make sure we would lock down the area to the point where a single person could not throw an object at somebody. The premise here is to put the fear of God in these people, because clearly for many that's yet to happen. They're parading through the streets with their Mexican flags, doing donuts, throwing Molotov cocktails at cars, businesses, causing millions in damage, and I'm sure this is going to amount to a lot of injuries and fatalities as well. So there's been a massive uprising in the claim that California was once part of Mexico, which is actually historically true to a point. From 1821 to 1848, Mexico actually owned California until the Mexican-American War broke out and a new treaty was signed and created the state of California. The two best historical cases to compare this to: in 1871 during the LA massacre, where 19 Chinese immigrants were murdered, and then in 1992, which is more relevant, the Rodney King LA riots, which killed 69 people. So you could argue there has been a historical war between Mexico and California and the sovereignty of the land. Obviously it's part of the United States, but when you have a massive flow of illegal immigrants over the past 20 years, you start to see with our guard down for so long, there could be a real revolution brewing here. And that's why it's adamant that Trump deals with this now, because Gavin Newsom in the state of California has no interest in doing so. And if California can be taken over, which is a big part of our economy, that could very well transfer to other states. This could be an actual civil war taking place in the United States between illegal immigrants and Americans. And obviously I hope for the best, I hope for peace, I hope our country can actually recover from this situation. Something interesting I heard from Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles. She said that 50% of California's population is Latino and they're a proud immigrant state. That shouldn't be a flex. Those type of demographics lead to the behavior we're seeing now. And let's be honest, who is looting these stores? Every video you see, it is 99% colored people, either Hispanics, illegal immigrants. You see the people that didn't found this country and came after we founded it, wreck the nice things that we have. And for the longest time, people were called racist for questioning that, and even today they still are. But when you're seeing people like Charlie Kirk, Jack Posobiec, and the Conservative Inc. actually speak up about this issue, in which they were silent on the last 7 years, you're starting to see a real shift in the conversation. Today, Kirk, Posobiec, Tim Pool, and many other conservative influencers posted on X today basically the same thing, saying that we should not have any more third world immigration, an immigration moratorium. I've been saying immigration moratorium even before Trump was elected. Because here's the reality about America. We can have a country that has $100 trillion in debt and still have a majority population of white people, but when you don't put defending your borders and deporting illegal immigrants first, you start to realize these things are interchangeable because some of them come back in the country, some of them are permanently here, they're on work visas, they get citizenship after they came in illegally. You can't remove these people once they're here legally. That's the thing. This even goes deeper than just illegal immigration. This is legal immigration as well. That's what I'm saying. We need an immigration moratorium, not a single person, until we at least solve this problem. And this is going to take 10 to 15 years, if not more. This isn't something we can fix overnight. Like I said, the Trump administration is only on pace to deport like 2 million people in 4 years, when at least 10 million came in under Biden. So yeah, it's good that ICE is making these busts. They're actually arresting people. I think I saw earlier today there was like 100 people busted in one raid. And it's been shown that many of them are actually being immediately deported, which is good. And many liberals are trying to compare this to January 6th. Here's the thing, January 6th was because of a stolen election and did not involve burning anything down. It was actually led by police and undercover agents. But something like the LA riots is actually more comparable to George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter riots. Many businesses were burnt down, the city was destroyed. Very similar case here, but it didn't get as intense. And just think if Kamala Harris was our president right now, she would literally be supporting Gavin Newsom and what they're doing and would not be condemning these protests. She would let it happen. There would be no National Guard, there would be no Marines in there right now. It would be absolute hell and there would be no solution. The whole state of California would eventually go up in flames. It would be controlled by gangs, illegal immigrants, Mexican cartels. That's probably the plan. I mean, you've seen Sheinbaum, who's the Mexican president. She's basically cheering on the violent protests. So this will go down in the history books. Hopefully this gets solved sooner than later. I urge Trump to push as much as he possibly can within the boundaries of the Constitution. We have to really think about things here. If we let our guard down this much and are not ready to really fight, our Constitution will be literally ripped up to shreds by barbarians and people that want to destroy this country. So there's a lot to talk about here, but we're going to react to the entire footage that we've gathered so far over the last couple of days. It's pretty gruesome. It's very distasteful to see this happen to our country. It's important that everyone sees this because this is the consequences of open borders and mass immigration.
I mean, you're seeing these authoritarian tendencies now are being acted out by this administration. And we're case in point as it relates to nationalizing, federalizing the National Guard, threatening now to put in Marines. So I hope these people would pause and just consider. Now, some of them, they want that kind of chaos. Some ways, they're adjacent to where Donald Trump is. But the peaceful protesters, we want to keep them safe. We want them to exercise their fundamental rights. We want to keep those that are enforcing the laws in a respectful and responsible way also safe. But Donald Trump needs to pull back. He needs to stand down. Donald Trump is inflaming these conditions. This is Donald Trump's problem right now, and if he can't solve it, we will.
He continues to, as always, hit you hard publicly. Just 10 minutes ago, he put out another Truth Social telling you and the mayor to apologize to the people of Los Angeles. You guys go at it pretty hard publicly, but I know you talk privately. Have you spoken in the last couple of days to the president about any of this?
Yeah, we talked for almost 20 minutes, and this issue never came up. I mean, I kept trying to talk about L.A. He wanted to talk about all these other issues. We had a very decent conversation.
When was this?
This was late Friday night, I think about 1:30 plus his time.
After the protest had started?
After the protest, and he never once brought up the National Guard. He's a stone-cold liar. He said he did. Stone-cold liar. Never did. It was a very civil conversation. I've always wanted to approach engagement with the President of the United States in a respectful and responsible way. But there's no working with the President. There's only working for him. And I will never work for Donald Trump.
Did you mention at all to him in that phone call on Friday night the types of raids that were happening in your state on Friday? You know, there are reports that and video of enforcement operations happening in ways that they haven't traditionally. ICE officers going to Home Depots around Los Angeles and picking off day laborers. Did you bring that up with him?
The conversation started with the frame of what's happening in L.A. He immediately pivoted to other interests and other things.
Do you think he was aware of what was happening in Los Angeles?
I think I'm more than aware. And obviously, he was setting this up to take these additional steps.
This was a setup.
And I'm not saying he was setting things up. Not saying it was a setup. But clearly, they were in the process of moving to these next steps because, I don't know where, just a few hours after that conversation, he moves to pull the trigger under this construct under Title 10 and then created and exacerbated the conditions that are persisting today.
This is your authority normally to deploy the National Guard here.
Right.
You did it. We were together after the fires, and those National Guard troops have been out all across Los Angeles working to rebuild and recover this city. How did you find out that the President of the United States was going to usurp your authority and deploy your National Guard here in California?
I got a call from a staffer. No heads up whatsoever. And again, we're here to support local law enforcement. There's a mutual aid process. Local law enforcement had no needs. They were not requesting any additional resources. I've got 100 now. I have 175 CHP officers, technically trained officers, tactical teams to address Donald Trump's mess. We're here to support local law enforcement, the sheriff's office, LAPD, but they didn't need that support. He made this up. This is a manufactured crisis in order to get under the tent to start to stretch credulity and to begin the process of moving inevitably towards a constitutional questioning crisis around posse comitatus. And it's, I think, inevitable. That's where he's going.
Tom Homan, the border czar, said to me yesterday he did not rule out literally arresting you, nor Mayor Bass, if you interfere in his words. He said you hadn't yet.
He's a tough guy. Why doesn't he do that? He knows where to find me. But you know what? Let your hands off 4-year-old girls that are trying to get educated. Let your hands off these poor people. They're just trying to live their lives, man. Trying to live their lives, paying their taxes. Been here 10 years. The fear, the horror. The hell is this guy? Come after me, arrest me. Let's just go.
When martial law is called, what are you going to say? I missed the point. Don't miss the point, you all. Don't think that somehow, because they called out the National Guard, there was violence. There was no violence. I was on the street. I know. And I went from downtown detention back out into the community, talking to people what happened in Paramount, what happened in Compton.
So you guys saw that. Gavin Newsom, Maxine Waters, both of them have no interest in abiding by the Constitution. They simply just want to harbor in this globalist agenda that really just favors people of color, people that aren't even here illegally. That's the main premise. These are illegal aliens. And if you saw there, Gavin Newsom tries to resort to, oh, these are poor kids, keep your hands off them. It doesn't matter who they are, doesn't matter what their situation is. They are here illegally. They need to go back where they came from. And that's what Gavin Newsom puts as foremost over everything. Streets of LA in flames. I mean, absolute hell breaking. Couldn't be any worse. I mean, it's literally a shit show. And all Gavin Newsom, Maxine Waters, and Karen Bass are worried about are whether illegal immigrants have a place to stay at night. If every single governor was like that, like I said before, we would have no state. We would have no constitution because it would be ripped to shreds. I mean, that's what these Democrats will never realize. That's why they're not going to win another election for a long time. I mean, it plays terrible in the midterms. But it's just absolutely atrocious that we see this. Like I said, all we can hope is just, maximum pressure, maybe enough time. LA will be able to recover from this. But, I mean, this is absolutely insane. Here's a video of a van that did a donut. I would assume this was an illegal alien that drove this car, or the van, right. I would assume.
Yeah, it did get out of control with the overpass on Spring Street, with the CHP vehicles, with the Waymo vehicles, like you said, over in Olvera Street area. But what we're seeing now these are anarchists. These are not law-abiding citizens. These are people that want to cause problems, and they've come into L.A. to do so.
Wow. And as you're saying that, we're watching somebody who was
so fast that he's going to run somebody over because there's just so many pedestrians running around, so many people with their phones out. This guy's already hit multiple things. You see the bumper damage almost hitting that vehicle head on, and people are continuing to throw rocks at him. This is Alameda and Cesar Chavez. I think that guy was trying to go up to the driver's door. More people throwing things at this vehicle. Again, we don't know.
Hard. There are people out in front of
him.
Oh,
no.
God.
Oh,
okay.
no. I thought he was going to hit the motorcycle.
It looked like he was aiming for him.
Yeah, this person is clearly upset.
Officers now responding. These are sheriff's deputies. They're putting.
So this is literally Grand Theft Auto in real life. As crazy as it is. Here's Pam Bondi the other day. I believe she said that the rock thrower, the infamous guy, the first couple of days during the riots, he was standing there on the side of the road just chucking rocks at bars. It was like 10 cars got drilled with rocks.
Cinder block case, Sean. Remember that case? We have breaking news right now. The case where the guy was breaking up the cinder blocks and he was throwing them at police cars. The police officer, the federal officer had injured his hand. He was wearing a mask. The FBI has identified him. Bill Isali, our incredible U.S. attorney out there working with ATF, DEA, and the FBI have been doing a remarkable job. That guy has just been identified, and they are doing a search warrant on his house as we speak. And he has been identified. See his face. He is going to be on, his name is Reyes. He is going to be on the most wanted list. You have broken the news. His face is out there right now. That's him. He has been identified by great police work by the FBI. So you can.
See, what they need to do is have a bounty hunters initiative program where they would hire bounty hunters to go round up illegals, like $1,000 a head. I mean, I've said this for months now, but you're seeing 10% of our economy get decimated in a couple of days, potentially. And this calls for extreme measures. I mean, these are extreme times. So yeah, why not? I guarantee you will definitely see more deportations and more apprehensions and arrests if you include some bounty hunter incentive program. I know Mississippi actually is working on legislation as we speak. Here's the video, back to the lootings. So I talked about that earlier. The lootings are pretty insane. Very similar to the Black Lives Matter riots. Here's an Apple store just yesterday that got looted in Los Angeles. Straight up hooligans, man, I swear. It's embarrassing. It's a degradation on our country. We do have some breaking news, though. A few hours ago, a curfew has been implemented in Los Angeles from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. per Mayor Karen Bass. So it does look like they're starting to acknowledge that this is a very detrimental issue and more than a peaceful protest, like they said before. It's astonishing. And then here's a Mexican protester who says that California belongs to Mexico.
This is our city, and this was Mexico. You can't kick us out of the land that was ours. Donald Trump! Fascism! Let our people free! Let our people free! Suelta nuestra gente!
What's the windblower for?
Just for the fucking tear gas to blow it back at those motherfuckers. If you have a fucking blower, bring it out! Push them back! We will not do 1992 again with your fucking tanks! I was 12 then! I'm 44 now! I will die for my fucking kids! And all of these young people!
God, enough of that. So yeah, that's what we're dealing with here. This could be a real revolution if it's not dealt with soon. I mean, we're really starting to see what 10 to 15 to 20 million illegal immigrants in one country does. Like I've said this for a while. When we go to sleep at night, where are these people at? We're starting to figure out. I don't see any end in this unless Trump just goes full-fledged, brings down the hammer and, within constitutional boundaries, obviously, but does what needs to be done. absolute insanity going on right now. Oh, the one streaming at 3 a.m. So yeah, that'll about do it. It looks like the updates are about dry right now. Besides the curfew being implemented, haven't seen any viral videos besides the one we showed you guys. Yeah, just all it looks like on the timeline is Gavin Newsom just throwing a fit, blaming Donald Trump for everything. The only thing he does have, which is a very pointless argument, is that the phone calls Trump tried to use, saying that it was 1 day ago when it was on June 7th and the date was June 10th. So clearly Trump mixed up his days there. And then Charlie Kirk and all these MAGA guys tried to say, oh, here's the receipts. Trump showed the phone call happened. Okay, but it wasn't 1 day ago. Yeah, kind of a gotcha moment there, but that is minuscule compared to the damage that's being done to California. And how Gavin Newsom is standing by idly, allowing it to happen. And you saw in the one video, he's willing to get arrested in defense of illegal immigrants, children, people that are hard workers, according to him, that have been here for their entire lives illegally. He told Tom Homan to step in and do something. If I were Tom Homan, I would have done it by now. Trump pushed him too. Tom Homan does talk like he's a tough guy. And speaking of the Marines, here's the latest video I saw of them strolling into LA a few hours ago. Yeah, so ever since I saw that video, I haven't really seen much besides arrests, deportations, and really looks like they're just holding down the city. That's good news at least. So yeah, I guess we'll end on a good note there, but we'll likely actually have another show in another couple hours. Not for sure, but have a planned collaboration at 7 a.m. this morning, and it's already 3:40, so we likely jumping into another episode, and it will be a debate against a conservative libertarian, my bad. But yeah, likely that will happen in the next couple hours if you guys want to stay tuned in and I guess wake up for that one if you guys are even awake. But on top of that, we'll also have a Palantir stream. We're going to be talking about the entire ins and outs of Palantir, the creations, Peter Thiel, Alex Karp, Stephen Cohen, all those guys. We're going to be diving deep on that one, how they're tied to Ukraine, Israel, deep state surveillance mess. We'll call it that for now. But yeah, until then, we'll see you guys next time. Make sure to follow me on Rumble. That's at Kacee Allen Show, Kacee Allen Show on X. And for exclusive updates and community news, go to at Kacee Allen Show on Locals. We'll see you next time.